Hi y'all. All right, so we are in week 6 for the summer stock up, and this week for the pantry, what I stocked up on are, if you can see them, petite diced tomatoes, and then navy beans. So in my pantry with canned goods, I've got a few big cans of crushed tomatoes. I've got tomato paste. I've got Rotel, a lot of that. I did beans. I've done black bean and red beans, I think, are the two I've stocked up on as well. And so like the whole point of this whole thing is that by the time we hit around September, I'm not sure when I'll stop, is we will have a freezer and a pantry or cabinets stocked with everything that we need to really have a successful rest of the year and into the new year with healthy ingredients and meals, and it's just going to take so much stress off of us and make meal planning and preparing and all of that so much easier, a lot less brain power needed, almost brainless, but I don't think that's possible. So I'm going to start with my, if you saw my post about the bags, how I've thrown away not as many as I've used, because today I only broke one, but I've thrown away, I don't know, 8 or 10 at least, I guess. And because they started being very hard to open from the very beginning, I've had to be very, very, very careful. And I just barely tried to open, and like this one, it just kept tearing and tearing. It's very frustrating. So if you have the same problem, I don't know if I'm going to return it yet. I think I'm going to wait and see how many more. Not return it, but ask for the box. Because if the rest of the box is fine, because the rest of these, I only had 1 out of 5 that didn't work. So I'm hoping that the rest of them open fine. And it's not like I don't even know how to open Ziploc bags. I've been using this stuff for years and years and years. It's just not letting me open the bags. Okay. So yesterday I did the ground beef. I did a 5-pound chub of 80/20, a 3-pound package of ground turkey 93.7, and then I had a 1-pound package I found at Butcher's that morning, or Friday morning, on clearance for $3 and something. But I needed 1.5 pounds for dinner last night. I made bacon wrapped meatballs, so I took out 1.5 pounds. So I ended up with 7.5 pounds for, I just call it generic ground beef. You call it whatever it works for you. I couldn't think of anything else to name it, so I just went with generic. This to me, it is just your basic seasonings. And I would have had 8 packages, except my hubby got a big bowl, like right after I made it, as it was sitting to cool. And then I used some for my snack, and then I have some for a meal for this week. So you definitely could get 8. I'm going to tell you how I did this because that's just how I do it. I cook the meat in 2 batches in a big pot. So I have some room, but I don't want to fill it over to the top. And with it being fatty, I don't want that much fat everywhere. I drain it in a bowl, let it sit, kind of rinse, and then I throw out that water, grease, and then I do it again on the second one. I cook my cauliflower rice completely separate. The meat is fatty, and I could be wrong on this, but this is how I think. As I'm cooking the cauliflower rice, if I'm cooking it in the hamburger meat, the rice is going to suck up that fat, and that's not what I want. And I rinse the meat to make it a leaner meat because the fat has been cooked off and rinsed off. And then I use 2 packages of cauliflower rice, and I specify the bags because they're 2 different sizes. Costco's bag I think is a pound, and I think Walmart's is 12 ounces. So I did one Walmart and then 1 Costco, and then I did 1 whole package, not the big bag, but like the regular size of the seasoning blend. And I cooked when the meat was cooling. I threw the seasoning blend back in that pot and let that cook and cook and cook and cook until it's frozen, and I want all the water to evaporate. And then I added garlic, let it cook for a little bit, and then I added the rice to that, and then I mixed all the meat back into the onion and garlic. onion mixture and the cauliflower. And so I've got 7 bags. I have a scale. It's not great. It doesn't do grams. But each bag is 15.7 to 1.2. So each bag is a full pound of meat mixture. That's just how I'm doing it. If you do this, do it however you want. So I now have 7 bags I'll be putting in the freezer today of generic ground beef that can be used in anything that would be called for cooked ground beef. Obviously, you wouldn't use this to make meatballs or anything there where you would want the raw meats. And if you find a good sale, almost every week the 80/20, has been free something. This last week, an even fattier one was on sale for $73.27. I don't know. I think that's right. For $3.49 a pound. So the only meat in my area that's on sale lately has been ground beef, chicken, pork, and then typically a steak of some sort has been on sale. So I'm trying to make this budget friendly, especially for those of us who live with a budget. Okay. So now I'm going to make Peruvian chicken. This is super, super simple. It looks like a lot of ingredients, but it's not. And if you do make it and then you want to make the verde sauce to go with it, I had somebody comment that verde for the sauce is a tomatillo based, and typically a verde sauce is a tomatillo based, but verde means green. I don't think it means tomatillo, so I feel like it just means a green sauce. I made a really quick sauce for the chipotle sheet pan tacos, and I just did lime, Greek yogurt, and cilantro, and it was really good. So you can just substitute that instead of the long ingredients for the sauce, or don't make the sauce at all. I thought the sauce was a great addition, but it's whatever works for you and your family. Okay, so it's going to use 1/3 cup of Bragg's. I eyeball it when I make these videos, especially like here, because it just is much quicker. I did trim these, but you do whatever you need to do for your family. Sometimes I don't trim. The only problem I've really found with not trimming, especially chicken breasts, by not checking, sometimes there is bone in there. And if you're serving little kids, I would hate for a kid to get a bone. Or anybody being a kid. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I know nothing about olive oil. I probably spent way too much on this. I was supposed to buy, anyway, I need to go back to Costco or Sam's and get some olive oil. This is probably it doesn't even have a screw lid. No Walmart pickup today. I also think that if you have any sort of Instacart, Walmart delivery, or Walmart Plus, anything like that, making your meals after you stock everything up, you sit down, you figure out if you're going to buy anything from the store, if anything's on sale, look in your freezer, you look in your pantry, and you don't have a whole lot you have to add to your grocery list. Okay, 1 to 2 tablespoons, or however much you want. 1 to 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. I will do 2 tablespoons. Also, if you are, I say this all the time, I would add the meat last and mix everything up with my hands. Okay, I say things and I misspeak all the time. I would add all my ingredients minus the chicken or meat, mix everything up like this, and then put the meat in there. But I took my grandmother Friday to hair and then the grocery store, so 2 different ones. And then she had me go in my dad's garden to look and see if there's any tomatoes that might still be there after my dad's went on vacation and no rain. And I was telling someone I went to look for my grandmother in the garden, and anyway, context and correct words is kind of important. Alright, so about 2 tablespoons of lime juice. Use fresh, use bottled, whatever you want. I've got everything already cut, and I don't know how the proper way to use this is, so I just flip the guy over a couple times. I don't know. If there was a citrus squeezing class, I missed it. And I don't know if it's, you know, the old lifestyle, whatever, but rubbing the lemon or lime like that, I was told years ago that it makes more juice come out. I don't know how that works unless it just warms it up. I don't know. And speaking about things I don't know about. So I mentioned earlier I do Walmart Plus, and I ordered some baked tostadas. I like having those. I do love my 25-calorie corn tortillas that I make into tostadas. Oh, brother. Okay. But having those on hand is just so convenient. I just flashed myself my glasses. Anyway, my baked tostadas, I might show a picture. They're awful. Like, it was like they stepped on them almost. That's the downside of, oh, it's right here, having somebody else shop for you. I think so far the worst is produce and then the tostada shells. But it is so convenient. I'm glad that my daughter, lives right around the corner, the one that has the 3 grandbabies. Her husband works a lot of hours, a lot of overtime. And they only have, she doesn't drive. So having groceries delivered is a great convenience. Okay, almost done squeezing these limes. I guess that's the next going to take the longest. Okay. That was supposed to go into the sink. Okay. And my glasses back so I can actually see these little letters over here. I think I remember what's what, but and I don't add salt when I use things like Bragg's because it's kind of like salty-esque. Okay, so cumin, 2 teaspoons of cumin. And in my research for Peruvian chicken, I found out there's a lot of Japanese and maybe other Asian cultures that moved into Peru, and so they have a big influence on a lot of their foods. I thought that was very interesting. A teaspoon of paprika. This is almost gone. I'm so glad I found that one at Academy. And if you do what I do, remember when you take this off, because I have dumped, I can't tell you how many spices by forgetting that I have taken it off to make it convenient for these videos. And then oregano, I might spoon that one. Almost done. And then I'll have 7 bags of generic ground beef, and then 4 Peruvian chicken. And again, this is a great grill recipe, but you don't have to grill it. And being from Texas, except when I live in apartments like with my mom and stuff, we've always had some form of a grill. It just gets so hot. Anyway, so I was, unaware that a lot of people actually don't own grills. But it is so nice and convenient, especially when you can mix up. Like today, my husband we're having hamburgers, hot dogs, brats, sausage. I'm forgetting something. Also, if you bake this and you like spice, the original recipes that I looked up use I cannot say the name of this pepper paste, but it is spicy, and I don't add the spice because, again, my daughter, who has moved back home, has a very, very sensitive palate. 2 teaspoons of honey, optional, obviously, and then I have on my recipe cayenne, optional. I do not add the cayenne. In our house, we use, if you like heat, you have to add it to your own food. And the amount of honey you will get on each of your chicken thighs is negligible in my opinion. And so I'll tell you, I did 3.9 something pounds of chicken thighs in one, and then 4.2 in the other. And what I did is I gave each one, after I trimmed it, each bag got 4, and then I had 3 whole chicken thighs left. So then what I did is I cut the big, I don't know how you look at chicken thighs, but I feel like there's a bigger piece of a chicken thigh and like a smaller piece over here. So I cut that, and so each one got a big one, and then the other bag got the 3 other small ones. That's how I made that work out. I think that's it. Yep. And then I'll just squish it and we'll be done. And I've got, if you have any questions, I've had a couple of people reach out to me. Feel free. I'm not perfect at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to do my best to feed my family and me healthy meals and make my future self have a lot of extra, hopefully, time when things are busy. That is it. I hope you're having a great weekend. Again, any questions or anything, feel free to message me or post a comment in here. I would love to hear from you. Bye.